Hello all. Today in this video we'll see how to make a model of a 2D drawing given to us. As you can see on the screen, there are 4 views. Considering this as the front view, this will be the right view and this will be the top view. This is the detailed view of this feature which is shown with a different scaling for better understanding. Now we also have a section view which is cut in this manner, and we also have a section BB which is cut exactly at the center. Now let us begin making this part using CREO as a CAD tool. Now, let me start and create a new part. To begin with, I'd like to make this profile. I'll use the top view and start making it. The direct profile is under palette. You can use these as your shortcuts whenever you're free. You can explore the different types of palettes which are in the software. I just delete whatever I do not want. I'll try to maintain symmetry as usual, and then it's already maintained, and then I'll try to give the dimension which is 120 and 80. Then the distance from center to center is 120. And this is 80. Let me try to coincide this on the center. This is the profile. Now this shape, racetrack shape, is being added to 10. So once I say OK, I'd like to give the 10. For future references, I'd like to keep the axis inside this sketch using the datum point. I can use this axis later on in my for the other features in my model. The other profile is of this profile. Let me try to make this. The circle is actually of 55. So let me see the height of the feature first. It's up to 60. I'd like to take a plane from here at 60. On this, we'll try to make the sketch. There's a circle, 50. And there are 2 arcs of R12 at a distance of 120. Since I already have taken the reference earlier, I can use these as my references and then start making my arcs or circles, whichever you are flexible with. Same, I'd like to use it on the other side. You can use mirror as well. I have not taken a center line, so I just did it again, and I'm using a line tangent to create the shape. As you can see, I've made this. Now, let's trim off whatever is not required. Of course, that's required. And this is not required. Say OK. Now add material up to the next surface. We also have another addition which is of this shape, and the distance is at 90. So we can try to make this as well at the moment, but it's at a distance of 25. So you can take a plane or you can begin the making that profile on the top plane itself. So I'd like to use the top plane, and I'll take the center lines so I don't have to struggle with the mirror like we did last time, and start making my profile. The profile is of R10 with a distance of 90. This is radius 10. I'll maintain a symmetrical dimension so I can mirror the extrude later. This one is up to the reference of this. Let me try to take a tangent line from here to here. Sorry. Line from here to here as well as here to here. And now let me try to trim off whatever is not important. Say OK. Add it up to 25 like we have seen earlier. Now the same thing, the same feature is on the other side, so I'd like to use the center to create the mirror. Now there is an addition at 75 of 55 diameter itself. So I'll take a plane first at 75 and then try to add material Since I already have 55, as when I was making this feature, I've already taken the diameter 55, so I'll be using that as the reference and then start making the circle. Since the dimensions are the same, I do not have to re-give the dimensions. It helps me save some time and helps with your feature-based modeling as well. It really helps with your feature-based modeling as well. So you have ribs over here. So let me try to give that as well using the profile rib. Now, let me see the rib thickness. The rib thickness is actually 8. It's given over here. The same thing is on the other side. Again, I'd like to use the mirror command to do so. Now, for this feature also, I'd like to give the reference because I have a hole in the center and I can use the axis later to drill the hole at that location. It's a little easier for me to do that. Now, let's start drilling these holes. There's 40 and there is another circle of 20. So let me try to make the 40 drill first. And I'd like to select it till this phase as it's only till that phase. Now, let's continue to make these wings. These wings are actually at 4. So as a reference, let me try to take a new plane from this face towards the other side and give it as 4. On this face, I'd like to make the cut. Now I know the center reference is actually 20, which I have just deleted. I have a center line. I'd like to cut this feature or this shape. I know the distance is point, center line point, which is my symmetrical dimension. The same is supposed to be maintained over here as well. Just give equal constraints so the dimensions don't repeat during the detailing part, and trim off whatever is not needed. And then use an arc or a circle to fill this. Again, trim off whatever is not needed. You can use an arc as well. I'm actually more comfortable using circles. Now, I'd like to cut the material up to the next surface. Since it's done on 4 sides, I'd use a pattern a little more easier for me rather than making it on 4 sides. See the picture. Now, there is also another hole which is of 10 diameter and it's through. So I'd like to drill a hole exactly at the center and take the diameter as 10. Since it's through, I'll give it to X. So it's through the complete hole. There is another hole as well, which is of 30 up to 30 diameter, depth up to 30. So I'll just select this. The diameter is 30 and the depth is 30 as well. So this will be my center feature of the body, as in I have made only this portion of it. Now there are other holes as well. So before that, you can see the hidden line feature. Let's try to make that. This feature is actually at the bottom, as you can see. So I'd like to use this face. On this, the whole body is actually maintaining around 15. So let me use an offset. So it maintains 15 as a loop and 15. It gives you this shape. See, I do not want these lines, so I'll delete them. When you do offset, this happens. I can join them later by simply using a corner command. Okay. Now, the cut is only up to 3. It's already mentioned in the drawing, so I'll just give it up to 3 and leave it. This will be your cut. Now, continuing, we have 2 holes here, which is actually of depth 30 and 12 diameter. So let me try to take the hole. Since I have not mentioned the axis over here, which we have done over here, we did not do it over here. So I'd like to do that as well. So it does not create the issues which we are facing right now. And click on OK. It does it. Actually, we can use the axis now. And the diameter is 12. We know that the depth is 30, but it requires a V cut. So I'm trying to use a standard hole with 30 depth. So once I say OK, it drills a V type hole. You can mirror it onto the opposite side since it's required. You can see the picture. Now, there are other holes as well which are drilled here, which is 10. So I'd like to use the hole again, since again I have a feature. Since I again have the axis, it's easier for me to do it here. If you do not have an axis also, you can place an axis and do it. There is no such problem. Now, to create these, I'd like to use a pattern. So I'd like to make points before that. So it will be easier for me. So on this face, I'd like to make 4 points and I'll simultaneously mirror them. Now I know the distance between this center to this center is 40, which they have already mentioned, and the distance from this center to this center is 165. So I'll take the distance from here to here as 165. Now, as per the drawing, it is understood that the type of hole drilled is the counter bore hole, which is of 10 dia, depth 2, and another the internal hole is of 6 dia. So let's try to make that using our hole command itself. Select the point. Now that we want a counter bore hole, we'll just try to select the counter bore and start giving our dimensions. We know that the inner dimension is 6, the depth is 2, and the outer dimension is 10. You can again pattern it, since I already have points which we have pre-planned to do, so we can do this. This we can do it using a point pattern. Now, finally, there are a few finishing operations which are given, which is R10. So let me try to begin with R10 first, assuming this, and this. All these have R10 as per the drawing. Now, I have given all of them as R10, so that's R10 TYP. Now, the other ones, like these ones are of R2, so let me try to give them first, considering this phase as well as this phase. These are 2 and these are 2 as well. The same rounds I can give it at the top. And as well as at the bottom. There are rounds given here as well. So I'd like to take the rounds here as well with R2, since there's R2 TYP, as you can see. Now, the final operation, there is a chamfer operation, as you can see C2. So I'd like to use a chamfer on this edge, give it 2 dimension and say OK. This is your final model of the drawing. We can take section views and compare and see if you're interested. The first one is actually an offset section, which is A. I'd like to make a sketch over here. The section is actually given for us for better understanding of the internal features like your holes, etc. So I'd like to start from here and maybe go this way. And this one should be at the center, so they have given a better understanding for the counter bore feature. So once I say OK and go ahead to your front view, you can see that the counter bore is given. I'll try to show the section. Yeah, there you go. The counter bore, the features, the cuts and everything. Now there is also another section, so let me deactivate this. And there's another section of B which is actually at the right plane. You can see this is it. If you have any queries, please drop on the comment below. We'd love to answer to all your questions. Thank you so much.